Hi everyone, Tim Kittrow, and here to bring home the bacon are Big Rye and the Fat Guy. Boom shakalaka!
Roland Walton's in charge. What's up, YouTube? It's the NFL Week 9 picks against the spread video for the 2020 NFL season. Fat Guy, you and I are 58, 59, and 2 for the season. Week 8 was very strong for us, 9, 4, and 1 against the spread. But like everyone always says, no one cares. On to Thursday night's game. Green Bay Packers traveling to San Francisco to take on the 49ers, who are 2.5-point underdogs at home. 39% of early bettors are on Nick Mullins or CJ Beathard and the San Francisco 49ers. Who you got?
You didn't get those names out that well. It's Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard.
Thank you.
I did first try, not you. Anyways, we're one game below 500, but let's hope that this game evens us up for the season. Of course, we have to pick every game. And this is one game where I'm going to go with the Packers. And this is one of those things. It is contrarian to take the Niners, but I don't think this line has adjusted, Big Rye. I mean, Garoppolo to Mullins, you could even say at this stage is a lateral move, considering the success of Nick Mullins in that in some starts, let's say, some snaps at quarterback. There's been some painful snaps for him as well against Philadelphia, but he looked decent against the Seattle Seahawks. And Garoppolo has been underwhelming, let's say, with the Niners. But losing George Kittle might be a key cog. I'm not sure if I still think Garoppolo is a little bit better, and I think Kittle is. I don't think any tight ends except Kittle should really move the line. Even Kelsey, I don't even know if I would. But I almost feel like Kittle is worth almost a point to the San Francisco 49ers. So I think this is under-adjusted. And for those of you who are interested in a middling play, I think you might be able to get it in this game, because you just have to lay just 2.5 points with the Packers. So the most key number is 3. So I think this line could move to perhaps 4, even 5 by game's end, and you could take the Niners, locking in say if you got +5 with the Niners, a 3 or a 4 would be a double win result, and a 5, because there's a low push frequency on 5, but it's still a push frequency. A 5 push with a Packers victory of 5 would allow a victory on the Packers bet and a push on the Niners spread bet +5. So that would equal a win, and a push would also be plus money. So I think there is going to be that opportunity, and I'm going to look for that. Laying money with the Packers right now. There was a slight, it's not the best price in the world, 2.5, but I don't think it's moved over that rough 3.5 patch. And I do believe this is Rodgers' revenge, and I'm going to take it because I don't think this is adjusted. I really don't. I don't think 2.5 is enough. I'm going to lay the points with the Packers, and I'm going to go with, let's call it under-adjusted double contrarian, as Dean Wormer would say.
Next up, let's move on to the Sunday early games. We'll start off with the Bears traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans, who are 5.5-point favorites. At home, 48% of early bettors are on the Titans. Fat Guy, who you got?
It's very interesting. Very interesting. I'm going to be taking the Tennessee Titans, coming off a very woeful performance, let's call it, against the Cincinnati Bengals. Just nothing going right. Jadeveon Clowney not showing up, missing a clear tackle in not one of his many rushes against Joe Burrow, who's just been fantastic. He's finding a way to win. He found a way to win, rather, despite not putting up gaudy numbers. The Bears look great on defense, difficult on offense. I do think it will be, in the end, a contrarian play. I don't know what kind of line move we're going to get. Despite the Bears covering or pushing for nearly everybody in that tilt with the Saints that went to overtime, that they even had a chance to win, I don't think they instilled too much confidence with the bettors. Bettors really, really don't like stagnant offenses, and we'd have to say that the Bears have of the most stagnant offenses, most frustrating even. Tennessee, though, I want to see how their run game stacks up against the Bears D-line. But all that being said, this is a pretty even-keeled market, so it's tough to give it. There is no real market play. Even though it's only 378 bets at the moment, it's in its infancy. I just don't see doing this for a while. I don't see this market maturing wildly for either side. So right now, as it is, I'm just going to take the Titans. I'm going to lay the 5.5 points, and I feel lukewarm about it.
Fat Guy, next up, the Detroit Lions travel to Minnesota to take on the Vikings, who are 4-point favorites at home. 42% of early bettors are on the Vikings. Who you got?
Well, we're going to go with the Detroit Lions. I mean, the Vikings coming off their best win of the season, best win of recent memory outside of playoff victories at the hands of the Saints. They were big underdogs, and they were able not only to cover but to get it done. But that should change the perception of the Vikings to a degree that it doesn't really deserve. Just because you have say you're a 1 in 5 chance of winning, which the Vikings weren't quite that bad, but I mean maybe 1 in 3.3 maybe. So event like you are going to win that game, 25% or what have you, right? So a little bit worse than that. So when it does happen, it shouldn't act as a shock. It just happens, right? Like if you don't 99% of no rain and you don't bring an umbrella and it rains, should you bring an umbrella every time? Well, it depends on how much you fear getting wet. I don't fear getting in on the Detroit Lions. I get 4 points. I think this is a closer game. I mean, I'm getting a divisional matchup. 4 points seems like too many. It's already moved in that direction of the Vikings. You could probably wait on this. I don't think this is going to be the best number. I think you can eke out a half point. And 4.5 seems fine for these Lions. I don't think the Lions are particularly well coached, which is always a red flag. But that's always why you're going to be getting points and probably undue points. This really feels like a Vikings 2.5 game, maybe a 2. I think the extra few percentage points is going to work into the Lions' favor over the long run, not necessarily this game, because a lot of people will be like, well, I didn't even need the points. Well, I mean, it's just one iteration of the game, right? Is in the long run, what should the game end by? And I feel it's Vikings by 2 points. So that means there is a small percentage in win probability when you take the Lions and you get spotted 4. Lions and the point seems about right, and I'm hoping it could maybe for the contest at least, and I'm hoping it can eke out maybe half a point as this market matures, because again, it's in its very infancy with less than 1,000 bets placed.
Next up, the New York Giants travel to Washington to take on the football team, who are 3.5 point favorites at home. 49% of early bettors are on Washington. Fat Guy, who you got?
Oh, Washington. Is that who you said? Nice accent for a guy who's born and raised in Canada. Anyways, we're going to be going with the New York Giants because 3.5 doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I believe we went with the football team last time who were on the road, not that it matters, and they lost by 1 point and were able to cover. Now we're going to get the Giants as dogs. We had a wonderful, wonderful performance against the Tampa Bay Bucks. We're in the driver's seat to perhaps even pull off a upset victory, probably the biggest upset of the weekend, even more so than the Vikings, had it not been for some key interceptions by Daniel Jones. That being said, the football team, I don't like the idea of laying 3.5, but I think there is a chance that bettors are going to have confidence in the Giants, perhaps, and this number could move down. So I would take 3.5. I would buy it right now. And then perhaps this shifts down and you would have another shot at a middling play, because this seems like this game is destined to be close. We only have a sample size of 1, and there's a 1 point differential between the two teams in their last outing, with the Giants, I believe, besting the football team 20-19. And I think you could maybe get the Giants at plus 3.5, and then perhaps Washington -1. And if you get like even money juice on both, which is possible right now, you can get the Giants plus 3.5 at even money. This is a New Jersey book, so it's unlikely. But if you are in New Jersey, that is possible. So that way you could get it at pretty much a guaranteed a break even or a win if you get the middling play. I mean, I'm bringing up middles a lot, but I mean there is a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of mobility in how these lines are moving right now. As it stands, I think the Giants is a really nice play, but you could add a football team if there is significant line movement down the road because of Giants confidence. And by the way, there should be Giants confidence. I had mentioned this in the last video. I said that they're of the bad teams, they're the best at keeping it competitive. They're the most likely, and I feel vindicated almost, because how many covers we got now against strong teams? I count the Rams. The Giants kept it close against the Buccaneers in this one. Dallas, they kept it close, but that was with Dak Prescott. Although it was at the game he broke his leg, Big Rye.
That was the game.
and they've kept it close in one other instance. I can't quite recall off the top of my head, but they've been really good. They've been the cover kings for me a little bit. So I like the New York Giants, and I think taking the 3.5 points is nice. But eventually, I think the confidence is going to be completely built by the public, and it might be time to fade them pretty soon. I just think it'll be one more week if they are able to get a win against the football team. Could you refresh me about the Giants' record, Big Rye?
It looks like they have only one win, but they kept it close against the Bears. Only a 4-point loss to the Bears in week 2. A 10-point loss to the Steelers, which you could probably count as a small win in week 1.
That wasn't a cover, though.
And they had a 1-point loss over the Eagles back on the 22nd.
Yeah, another game they could have won.
So 1-7, but very, very good against the spread.
Very good against the spread. I would venture to say only 2 losses. So this is one of those golden teams for that. But like I said, any more good performances, and it might be time to fade them, and the regression will set in.
Next up, the Seattle Seahawks travel to Buffalo to take on the Bills, who are 3-point underdogs at home. 37% of early bettors are on the Bills. Fat Guy, who you got?
I'll be taking the Buffalo Bills at home. Home field advantage not meaning for much. I was hoping for a bad forecast, but it looks like in Buffalo, the weather shouldn't be too bad. Of course, these outs, the further you are out from forecasting weather, the less reliable it is. So you have to take that into consideration. That being said, Buffalo Bills at home. I think this is another good redemption game. Not too great against the New England Patriots, but able to get the win. Seahawks just sensational as usual. And you're going to have all the handicapping questions. How do you stop Metcalf? How do you stop Wilson? How do you stop Lockett? I don't know all the answers. I don't. But I do think that there will be value on the Bills going forward in this, as far as this market goes. It is under 1,000 bets, but it has close to 1,000, which is more mature than some of the other markets. People seem to be favoring the Seahawks a lot, and the Seahawks even have more of the money percentage, even more so than the volume of 64%. So that is a little bit worrisome, meaning that some of the sharp money is on Seattle. But I also think, though, that you can wait on this. The Bills, I mean, you're getting 3 now, but I don't see why you couldn't get 4.5 or even 5. I just feel like the betting confidence in Seattle is just at the highest of high levels, especially with the dismantling of the 49ers. So I do like the Bills going in the contest. Don't love them, very lukewarm. But if I can get 5 points or what have you, I'll be taking them in real life. Give me the Bills and give me the points.
Next up, the Baltimore Ravens travel to Indy to take on the Colts, who are 3-point underdogs at home. 32% of early bettors are on Indianapolis. Fat Guy, who you got?
It just feels like such a sharp pick to take the Colts here. I mean, the Colts are playing sneaky, fantastic football. Ravens, of course, not getting the result they want against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I'm going to go a little bit, I guess, we'll quote Dean Wormer here again and go double secret contrarian and take the Baltimore Ravens. I don't mind laying 3 points in this spot. I just think they're a better football team, and I think this will turn out to be a contrarian pick. I think they have lost some confidence. Maybe perhaps the idea that the Ravens aren't able to beat the good teams with having losses at a pretty almost an embarrassing loss against Kansas City and a difficult loss against the Steelers. Maybe people think their offense is figured out or what have you. And the Colts might be a circle on their unfortunate parlay tickets. Unfortunate if you do pet parlays for the most part. All of that being said, I'm using that idiom a lot. I do like the Ravens. I don't mind laying the points, but this is new territory for me. It's not unfamiliar because this is usually 95% of Fat Guy pick to take the Colts, but I'm going to stick with the Ravens this week. Something just feels off on it. Maybe I'm trusting my gut for the first time. It is very large. So let's go with the Baltimore Ravens and see if they can't trounce expectations against a well-coached, decent Colts football team.
Next up, the Carolina Panthers travel to Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs, who are currently 10.5-point favorites at home. 62% of early bettors on the Chiefs. Fat Guy, who you got?
Panthers all the way. Panthers, I love that team. We've been on the right side of them, being able to dink and dunk, zig and zag, and pick seam to where they're going to cover. And I'm hoping this is one of those cases. The market is young, but the sharps seem to be on the Panthers, and I can understand why. Lower percentage volume of bets, far lower, but the same amount of money put on them. And the Panthers are an underrated football team. Of course, when they become favorites, they're not able to get it done against the Atlanta Falcons. But when they're dogs, they seem to cover because they keep it competitive. Teddy Two Gloves is an ideal quarterback for covering, able to game manage when needed and able to chuck it and sling it when he needs to. And this is a good example of it. This is a good market to watch. And we do put out a market video every Friday or Saturday featuring Big Rye. You don't have to listen to me. I'm not the personality for everybody. And that's through our subscription. So you just click the button that says join next to the subscribe bell. And it's $5 a month. It's a pay-per service. And you also get to join our Discord. I got to put the plug in somewhere, guys. There are ads, but I mean, we got to make it live on YouTube. It's 2020. Everything's digital and it's very difficult. So if you want to see the market video for this, it will come out on Saturday. Just click that join button. And most likely it will say, take the Panthers, and there probably will be line movement. I could see the Panthers becoming more of underdogs because the Chiefs, much like the Seahawks, have unbridled enthusiasm as far as the gambling public is concerned. And they think it's always easy money to bet the Chiefs. I don't think so. I really like the Panthers in this spot. I'd like to get more than 10.5, but that's just greedy. 10.5 is a fantastic number. I'll buy the Panthers now, and I might buy them throughout the week as the number trends upwards. I'm not going to put full units each time, only because betting against the Chiefs is a volatile business, and I don't like betting a lot of money against really good teams, even though I do think there is positive expected value on the Panthers. Give me the Panthers and give me the points.
And I want to give a little bit of kudos to Jackson Littlewood, who managed to get the Carolina Panthers at plus 12.5. Great value. Again, you guys can always get better value at the start of the week, but you're definitely taking more of a risk betting at the start of the week, predicting where lines are going to move. Fat Guy, next up, the Houston Texans travel to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars, who are 6.5-point underdogs at home. 41% of early bettors are on Jacksonville, and I know they've reported that they're going to be starting a rookie quarterback. I believe it's Jake Luton, sixth-round pick.
Or Luton. I haven't heard his name announced, so I can't really comment it that way. This is a tough one. It'd be obviously a no bet for me in real life, unless I was able to get the Jaguars at something a lot higher. But I'm also not ready to lay points with the Texans, who have been pretty woeful in the contest. So this is a pure contest pick. I'll be taking the Jags. I'll be taking the 6.5 points. I'm hoping that, as far as the keys to victory, the path to victory for the Jags is pounding the rock and running against I guess you could call it a leaky Texans defense. And the Jags do have personnel that should be able to put up a fight as far as defensively against Deshaun Watson and company. So let's just go with the Jags. The betting market is out of control. There's very few bets, like probably the fewest of any of the games, in around 400. So this market, using it as a guiding stick is just it's just irresponsible almost. So I can't really draw too many conclusions as far as the market goes. It would be more in a wait and see approach. If you do think the Texans are formidable in contrast to the Jaguars, then I would suggest buying now, because I don't think you're going to get a better line than the 6.5 that's out right now. And 93% of the money is on it, so I can kind of understand. I'm just going to take the Jags in the contest. I'm going to regret it perhaps, and I don't love this game. Very lukewarm Jags pick.
Next up, the Denver Broncos travel to Hotlanta to take on the Falcons, who are 4-point favorites, 65% of bettors on Atlanta. Fat Guy, who you got?
Well, I got a bet of the week. Denver Broncos, absolutely. They, of course, won in the most unconvincing of fashions against the fall-apart Chargers, who seem to keep it close against whoever they're playing. And furthermore, the Falcons had almost a statement performance in front on primetime on Thursday night, not the true primetime, Thursday night football against the Panthers, who a lot of people liked in that. We caught a lot of flack actually in the comment section about the Falcons and the Vikings, of course, vindicating us just a little bit by getting victories against the spread and outright, might I add. All that being said, I used it again. I'm going to be taking the Denver Broncos, the 4 points. I think you should buy now. I think this line can only really go down, or you're going to get worse juice. Buy the Broncos, buy the 4 points. Obviously, I think recreational bettors are going to like the Falcons, but I don't think they're going to love them. So I don't think because we need them all pretty much stacked up against us to get a line movement, right? And I don't think they're going to be like running together in droves, especially because the Broncos got a W. So that almost deters people thinking that, oh yeah, the Broncos were able to beat the Chargers despite not knowing how it actually came down. So give me the Broncos, give me the 4 points, and hopefully an unheralded victory led by Drew Lock and co. And maybe a spectacular grab by KJ Hamler. I think this is a pretty even matchup. I don't think Falcons deserve to be 4-point favorites. So I'll be taking the Broncos. I'll be taking the points.
On to the midday games. We'll start off with the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers, who are 1.5-point favorites at home. 43% of early bettors on the Chargers. Fat guy, who you got?
Well, it's do up, do down, I guess. And we're going to go with the do up Chargers, do down Raiders. Raiders with a almost masterful performance beating the Cleveland Browns. People would call it an ugly game with the terrible weather. People might call it a boring game. It was anything but that for Big Rye and I. We enjoy those very deep, drawn-out chess matches with the Raiders rushing in total, I believe, 45 times. And, I mean, if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. The Raiders' defense stacking up nicely against Baker and company, just pretty much shutting them down only to 6 points. I quite like the Chargers, though. Chargers have been close in so many games. So many, but they're haven't been able to close it out. I'm going to call that bad variance. There has to be a team like that, right? You know, it's kind of like, for instance, they always go, Kirk Cousins doesn't do well in games that aren't in the morning. Well, of course, somebody's not going to do well. I mean, they brought up that stat with he never beats any team over 500. Well, Carson Wentz hasn't really either. There has to be someone that's on the bad side of them. Has to be someone that has to be a good side of it. That's just how samples work. It'll probably work out to a bell curve anyways. That being said, the Chargers are on the worst of it, and Seattle's probably one of the ones that's on the best of it. So, you know, you'd forget the Arizona loss. But anyways, the Chargers are a little bit better than the record indicates. I'm not going to agree with John Madden necessarily, and I'm hoping they can clean it up in this divisional matchup against the Las Vegas Raiders, who I quite like, quite enjoy, and they're one of my favorite teams too, so I'm betting against that as well. There is a lot of early money on the Raiders, but the betting market is in its infancy at 643 bets currently as we make this this video on the Monday night. I'm going to be taking the Chargers. I'm going to be laying the 1.5 points. And I'm just maybe hoping when I bet, I might wait a little bit to hopefully get a little bit better juice. I'm not too worried with the line fluctuation. So Chargers laying the points.
And the game of mystery where the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be traveling to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Currently, the only respectable line that we can find out on this game is 9.5 for the Steelers. It's probably not going to end up as this, but for the contest, this is the only factual line that we can find at the moment. Because there's no line out, there's no betting percentages as well, I should say. Dallas Cowboys, 9.5-point underdogs as of now. Fat guy, who you got?
Well, this is one of those things, right? Like this is, I doubt this line is even real. I mean, we see it at, what is it, FanDuel? Is that who has it?
I think it was FanDuel, New Jersey. And just to get us a little bit off topic here, but during our live stream, we even chatted about what this line should be during the Sunday night game as the Cowboys were playing. And I remember I said that I thought the Steelers should be 14.5-point favorites. And I know that you even scoffed at that, thinking that that was too low. So to think that it might actually be set at 9.5 would be quite the difference as to where you and I would have set the line if it was up to us.
And everyone else in that live stream thought between 13 and 19. And that's a good thing. If you guys could put down what you feel the line should be, Steelers at Cowboys, it could be anything. Put in the comment section, let us know, and perhaps we can kind of draw from that consensus. Since I had mentioned that, I really feel the Steelers should be a 19.5, 20-point favorites, somewhere in that. I might actually lay 19.5. This is assuming that Ben DiNucci is starting for the Cowboys. It's a one-sample game. I shouldn't overreact, but it was just so woeful that I wouldn't in good conscience be able to take the Cowboys plus 9.5. I mean, someone commented that I'll always take the points. No, I won't. It's about pricing. If the Cowboys were plus 21.5, I would take them. But minus 9.5, I don't mind laying that with the Steelers. I don't, just from a pure handicapping perspective, I don't understand how the Cowboys would be able to generate very much offense against a very polished, undefeated Steelers team and very strong defense, which is arguably the best in the league. It's probably consensus best in the league. I don't see how Ben DiNucci, is going to be able to have any sort of success on offense. I mean, half their plays that they executed well against, I'm going to say below average Philadelphia squad were trick plays, and I did like that they were going after it, but eventually everything fell apart, and I could see that happening right from the opening bell against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I thought the Cowboys defense played a little bit better than usual, but I don't think that's going to be nearly enough against the Steelers. If the line is in fact 9.5, I highly suggest buying it right now if you're able to. Lay 9.5 points. This is one of the few times I'll ever endorse doing that. But this just seems almost too good to be true. Maybe I'm missing something, but here I'll lay 9.5 absolutely. For me to take the Cowboys, like I said, I'm going to need like 20 points realistically. So I'll bet the Steelers all the way up to minus 14 or minus 13.5. I'll leave it from then on, and then I take the Cowboys at plus 20 if there is line movement. You will be able to see the entire scope of this market in Big Rise market video if you join our membership. Click the join button. It'll happen on Saturday. On to the next one.
Next one is Miami Dolphins at the Arizona Cardinals, who are 4.5-point favorites at home. 41% of early bettors on the cards. Fat Guy, who you got?
Well, there has been a slight line movement in favor of the Cardinals with early money on the Dolphins, and I can understand why. Dolphins might sneaky have one of the best defenses in the league. They're insanely well coached. They play very, very good football, at least on the defensive side of the ball, and let's call it interesting football on the offensive side of the ball, with Tua having some struggles. I actually like, with this line movement, the Arizona Cardinals. I don't mind laying the 4.5 points. I think the Arizona Cardinals defense could end up playing a little bit better. And I think the Arizona Cardinals offense is a little bit too has too many looks for a young but talented Dolphins defense. The early money is on the Dolphins, but I think it'll continue. I think it's a public pick. So I think betting the Cardinals, you could actually wait just a little bit. And I don't mind laying the points again in this spot here. Cardinals with a fantastic victory over the Seahawks. The one good thing about that is that was Sunday night previous. So that's kind of worn off. The allure of the Dolphins is riding high right now, and I think the public's going to remember that. I'm going to take the Cardinals. I'm going to lay the points. I might wait a little bit for this market to change just a little bit, but I don't mind laying with the Cardinals. I think this is a reasonable pick.
Fat Guy, on to Sunday Night Football, where the New Orleans Saints travel south to Tampa to take on the Buccaneers, who are 5-point favorites at home. 63% of early bettors are on the Bucs. Fat Guy, who you got?
I'm going to be taking the New Orleans Saints again in their rematch with the Bucs. Oh, Fat Guy, it's a revenge game. I understand that, but I think 5 points is too much. Are there ways past for the Bucs to victory? Absolutely. The Saints have been limited on offense with very dink and dunk style, putting in Taysom Hill a lot. They're like a time of possession style offense. Big Rye?
Definitely.
Not as good as the Raiders, who blew away the time of possession at almost 2-1, I think. But the Saints are capable of just that, and the Bucs aren't as formidable on offense as we once thought. I am interested to see where this market goes. The early pros are on the Saints, and I don't blame them. But I want to see if this is this performance that was, I would say, below average for the Bucs against the upstart New York Giants shook the confidence at all of the public, because they blow out the Green Bay Packers and then they eke out a really small victory against the New York Giants on this Monday night, which is a more watched game too, so more public eyes. So this is one of those ones where I'm really curious how this market is going to come to shape. As it stands, though, I like the Saints because I get 5 points, and I don't really think they should be 5-point underdogs. I feel like it's more like a 3. They should be 3-point underdogs. So there's a small bit of meat on the bone there. So give me the Saints, give me the points, and I don't want to hear during the broadcast who has more touchdown passes.
And a little nice tidbit: the Raiders had the ball for 37 minutes and 43 seconds against the Browns. So
that's unbelievable.
The time of possession was a 15-minute difference. On to Monday Night Football, where the New England Patriots travel to New York to take on the Jets, who are 7.5-point underdogs at home. 20% of lowly bettors are on the Jets. Fat guy, who you got?
Well, the Raiders had a masterful performance, and here's two teams that certainly did not. Patriots showing their struggles, their lack of depth on the roster, and the Jets showing that they're just the Jets, still not being able to cover a giant number. This is a tough one again. I've been a little bit favorable to the Patriots. I've been, I don't know, I guess romantic about their cause. I'm certainly not going to bet this one because I'm, I guess, underestimating the Jets perhaps and overestimating the Patriots. So for the contest, though, I'm going to be taking the Jets. I'm going to be taking the 7.5 points. I don't love it. You guys know that. But, I mean, when in doubt, take the points, and I am most certainly in doubt. I want to see how this game plays out because the Jets, I mean, they made an effort to try and stop the run against the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's really all that the Patriots have. The market is so fresh right now that it's very, very difficult to come to any conclusions. So I'm going to be taking the Jets. I'm going to be taking the points, and hopefully it's a divisional dog at home. I don't love it, but it's most certainly a contest pick, and most likely not one in real life. So let's see if the Jets can lose by just a little.
All right, Fat Guy, on to the lightning round. Green Bay at San Fran.
Green Bay Packers.
Chicago at Tennessee.
Tennessee Titans.
Detroit at Minnesota.
The Detroit Lions.
Giants at the football team.
Giants in the points.
Seattle at Buffalo.
Oh, the Buffalo Bills.
Baltimore at Indy.
Double secret contrarian Baltimore Ravens.
Carolina at Kansas City.
Panthers in the points.
Houston at Jacksonville.
Jags in the points.
Denver at Atlanta.
Loving the Broncos.
The Las Vegas Raiders at the LA Chargers.
Lynn and the Chargers.
Pittsburgh at Dallas.
In this bizarro line, in the bizarro world that we live, I'll take the bizarro Steelers.
Miami at Arizona.
Arizona Cardinals laying the points.
Saints at Bucks for Sunday Night Football.
Saints to deny the Bucks revenge.
And Monday Night Football's 5-star entertainment game, the New England Patriots at the New York Jets.
Jets?
A lot of confidence there, Fat Guy. On to the 2020 Week 8 winner, Addie's Daddy, going 10-3-1 against the spread and coming in clutch with, I believe, an over-under Price is Right rules of 45 or 46. And what was the final score of that game? It was 48. So
48, yeah, he had 46.
An excellent job with the OU. So congrats to Addie's Daddy for the Week 8 win. Also, Week 8 winners, Bat Boy, and If You're Not Happy, Then I'm Not Happy. All three going 10-3 and 1 against the spread. But Addie's Daddy is the one who takes home the T-shirt for Week 8. Fat Guy, you and I are 9-4-1 for this week, as well as Zitvono. Minshew has a mustache, but Big Rye has a mite stash. That is definitely true. Cassone, who again is continually improving on his already unbelievable season. Ex-Giants fan, and as well as Weiss picks. Big Balls Burrow.
Weiss
Bring the
picks. German out.
Thank you. Fat Guy, what are your thoughts on us going 9-4-1 this week?
It's nice to be in there. It kind of feels like all these market plays are starting to become more of a thing, even though I haven't been as stringent with them. You know, obviously picking some spots to zag. But it feels like everything's leveling out. I'm actually confident we're going to be able to beat the juice. Maybe finish with 53%. That's my goal for the year. My optimism though is one of our contestants finishes 60% or above, which is almost impossible. So I'd really like to see it happen on our channel. Good luck, Billy369. Good luck, Cassone.
Now let's move on to them. Cassone 76, 40, and 2, good for 65%. Billy369 75, 42, and 2, good for 64%. As well as Fleabit Peanut Monkey at 71, 44, good for 61%.
Fantastic.
These are 3 very, very, very excellent records. Everyone in the top 10 is definitely positive, definitely making money if they're making picks over the season. So congrats to everybody in the top 10, and a real special shout out to Cassone, Billy, as well as Fleabit Peanut Monkey, all being over 60% for the season. Very, very impressive. All right, Fat Guy, on to the JS715 at Name of the Week. Honorable mentions, take it away.
Party on, Wayne. I mean, is it just something he just likes Wayne's World, or is it really deeper than that? 2 Canadians, Big Ryan and I, pretending that we're American often. The haircuts, I'm a lot fatter than Wayne Campbell, but I do appreciate the shout out if that is the case. So tip of the hat. I got 99 problems, but a cat is one. I do have a cat, and it's the bane of my existence. And I don't enjoy the vet bills, paying for food, or scooping the box. Not that I've ever done it. Back check like Metcalf, don't stumble Jones. I didn't get the whole entire thing, but it's a reference to DK Metcalf. His unbelievable run, chase down last week of Buda Baker. It was unreal. Has to be immortalized in everyone's mind and in the honorable mentions. And then that guy still like.
The other thing too with that last one is Daniel Jones stumbling on the turf monster.
For
New York.
No wonder I forgot the suffix. Yes, that was fantastic. Fat guy stole my girlfriend's penis. I mean, some girls have penises, apparently. That's the new way. It's 2020. We all got to adapt, apparently. I don't know. Fat guy's brown stain. Well, the Browns are a stain, and so are my shorts. And they were a stain this week, luckily, against the Raiders.
This is the JS715 Name of the Week. Whoa, kaboom!
The JS715 Name of the Week, presented by Tim Kitzrow, is Dylan equals Mr. Fuse. Now, this is a live stream inside joke. I can't get into the specifics of it, but it gave me great laughter. And anyone who joins us on the live stream, which happens every Sunday night football and every Monday night, and perhaps on the upcoming occasional Thursdays. So this is for the inside. This is for the people that join us during the stream. And I have a date with Mr. Fuse later, if you know what I mean.
All right, Fat Guy. Everyone watching, remember you can make your picks for Week 9 at Big Rye and thefatguy.com. There is a $100 prize for the most regular season wins.
USD.
Fat Guy, that's it for us. Week 8 is in the books. Week 9, looking ahead. Do you like some of these plays? I'm looking right now.
I love some of them.
I like the Denver play.
I love the Denver play, but some of these are gross. Like I have to take them for the contest. It's just unruly. I don't want to bet on the Jets, Pats. I really don't want to do that. There's a bunch of them. Even like the Tennessee one's tough. And the Jags one for sure is a stay away. But what are you going to do? It's the contest. The contest show must go on.
And like, comment, subscribe. If you guys haven't joined the membership, there's going to be extra videos as well as Discord. Good luck in Week 9.